Good morning, children. Last time in Landscape of the Soul, we read that Wu Daozi, who was a famous painter of 8th century, made famous beautiful paintings for the palace of Tang Emperor Zhuangzong. And after showing the painting to the king, Daozi, along with painting, got vanished. Quentin Matsey painted a fly on the master's masterpiece painting with such a delicacy and precision that master agreed to his daughter's marriage with Quentin Matsey. And paintings of Europe present on an illusionistic view where an Asian or Chinese painting create essence, inner life and spirit. So today we are going to learn more about the difference between a European, a Western painting, and a Chinese painting. And then we are going to talk about the concept of sanctuary. We are on page number 35 of Hornbill Text Children. The last para. A classical Chinese landscape is not meant to reproduce an actual view, as would a Western figurative painting, whereas the European painter wants you to borrow his eyes and look at a particular landscape exactly as he saw it from a specific angle. The Chinese painter does not choose a single viewpoint. His landscape is not a real one, and you can enter it from any point, then travel in it. The artist creates a path for your eyes to travel up and down, then back again in a leisurely movement. This is even more true in the case of horizontal scroll, in which action of slowly opening one section of the painting, then rolling it up to move on to the other, adds a dimension of time which is unknown in any other form of painting. It also requires the active participation of the viewer who decides at what pace he will travel through the painting, a participation which is physical as well as mental. The Chinese painter does not want you to borrow his eyes, he wants you to enter his mind. The landscape is an inner one, a spiritual and conceptual space. Children, as we had discussed earlier, also, figurative paintings are the paintings that are describing any form of art, that is, you can say modern art, that retains strong references to the real world. And leisurely movement is a relaxed movement that is being talked about the Chinese painting, Chinese form of art. And scroll is a long roll of paper with writing on it. So horizontal scroll is suggesting the painting or the art that is opened and shown, and then the other one, then the other one, like this, one after the other. In the leisurely movement, the things are shown, and the people, the onlookers, the spectators, they decide according to their view what is that. Then conceptual space is a relation with the abstract, something abstract representation. So, children, here the writer says the Chinese landscape painting is not made with a real viewpoint, but it is a representation of the artist's thoughts. And the Western painting in Europe is a figurative art form. The European painter paints a landscape to show you a specific scene of landscape, whereas the Chinese painter doesn't choose a real viewpoint. You can enter the painting from any point and can travel anywhere where your thoughts and imagination take you. And the Chinese artist wants you to travel by creating your own path and then come out in a relaxed movement. In China, this mode of seeing a painting is more enjoyable. A horizontal scroll is a form where one section of the painting is opened one by rolling it up to move on the other side, and it creates a dimension which is not practiced in any other form of artwork. It requires both mental and physical participation of the viewer. The Chinese painter wants you to enter his mind and see the painting from his thoughts, from his opinion, from his views. And the landscape created by the Chinese artist is a spiritual, inner, and you can say of conceptual or abstract space. This concept is expressed as sanctuary, literary mountain water, which used together represent the word landscape. More than two elements of an image, these represent two complementary poles reflecting the Taoist view of the universe. The mountain is yang, reaching vertically towards heaven, stable, warm, and dry in the sun, while the water is yin, horizontal and resting on the earth, fluid, moist, and cool. The interaction of yin, the receptive, feminine aspect of universal energy, and its counterpart yang, active and masculine, is of course a fundamental notion of Taoism. What is often overlooked is an essential third element, the middle void, where their interaction takes place. This can be compared with the yogic practice of pranayam, breathe in, retain, breathe out. The suspension of breath is the void where meditation occurs. Middle void is essential, nothing can happen without it. Hence, the importance of the white unpainted space in the Chinese landscape. So, children, the Chinese concept of art is also expressed as sang shui, which also means mountain water. It is used together to represent the word landscape. So, mountain and water. The two complementary poles of an image reflect the Taoist view. Taoist, children, we have discussed earlier that Taoism is a Chinese philosophy based on the writings of Lao Tzu, and Tao means two. The mountain in the landscape is yang, which means to reach vertically towards heaven, stable, warm, and dry in the sun, whereas the water is yin, which is receptive and feminine aspect of universal energy. So they represent male and the female. The yang is active and masculine and the opposite of yin. And there is a third essential element which is middle void. Void means empty space. So middle void, which is the place where they interact. This middle void can be compared to pranayam, which means to breathe in, retain, and breathe out. Here, the suspension of breath is the void in this meditation process occurs, and it is an essential part as nothing can happen without it. Hence, the white unpainted space in the Chinese landscape is equally important. So, white or at the empty space on the Chinese landscape, it expresses the idea of the meeting of the yang and the yin. So the difference between them and the meeting between yang and yin. So that can be exposed or that can be shown only when there is empty space. So difference also and the feature also can be shown only in the presence of the empty space. This is also where man finds a fundamental role. In that space between heaven and earth, he becomes the conduit of the communication between both poles of the universe. His presence is essential, even if it's only suggested, far from being lost or oppressed by the lofty peaks. He is in Francois Chang's wonderful expression, the eye of the landscape. So, children, the Chinese concept of art is which is expressed as sang shui. About that we are talking. So how important it is, and then the middle void that we had talked about just now, the empty space is very important. Now, if we consider about the heaven and earth, then the middle void is where a man finds an important role. Man is the channel of communication in the space between heaven and earth, which are two poles of the universe. So, a human being is the part of the heaven as well as of the earth. The physical body makes us understand, the physical body makes us understand that human being is the part of the earth, and because human body is made up of the elements of the earth, and then the spirit that is residing in the body is actually the part of heaven. So man is the channel of communication between heaven and earth. Man's presence is essential. So if man is not there, then what is the importance of this world? It is not being lost or suppressed due to high peaks, but he is the eye of the landscape. So, nothing can beat him. And even the highest peaks that are there on the earth, that cannot suppress his presence, his existence. And therefore, Francois Chang has expressed the idea that he is the eye of the landscape. Eye that is important through which we see the world. Eye is the important part of the body through which we see the world. In a similar manner, he is the eye of the landscape, means you can see the land, you can the existence of the world, the importance of the world is because of him only, through him only. Now let's come to the second part of the lesson, children. Getting inside outsider art, which is also very important. When French painter Jean Dubuffet mooted the concept of art bred in 1940s, the art of the untrained visionary was of minority interest. From its almost veiled beginnings, outsider art has gradually become the fastest growing area of interest in contemporary art internationally. The writer says that French painter Jean Dubuffet had originated the concept. Mooted means originated the concept of art brut in 1940. Now, what is art brut? Art of the untrained visionary. Means the artist is not trained to draw that or to perform that or to show the art, but his vision is such that make him an artist. Nobody is interested in the art of an untrained artist. And from the veiled beginnings means nobody knew it in those times. Nobody wanted to know, nobody was interested to know about that art. So, this art was also called outsider art. But slowly and gradually it became very interesting. It was fastest growing area of interest in the contemporary art, and internationally it was acknowledged. This genre, that is, this concept, is described as the art of those who have no right to be the artist as they have received no formal training, yet show talent and artistic insight. Their works are a stimulating contrast to a lot of mainstream offerings. So, as children, Quentin Metze, about whom we have read, who was not a professional artist but drew a fly on the panel of the painter and made it appear as if it was a real one. So, like that, there are many artists in the world who have not received any formal training, but they are having such an unusual talent and artistic insight that makes us call them the artist. And they are completely, their work is in complete contrast with the mainstream offerings, means the artists who have been trained formally to perform their or to expose their art, to exhibit their, reveal their art. Around the time Dubuffet was propounding his concept in India, an untutored genius was creating paradise. Years ago, the little patch of jungle that he began clearing to make himself a garden, sculpted with stone and recycled material, is known to the world today as the Rock Garden at Chandigarh. So, when Dubuffet was talking about the same concept, the outsider art concept, at that time in India also, uh, an untrained artist who was untutored genius was creating a paradise. And what did he do? he had taken a little patch of jungle and then created a garden with stone and recycled material. This is known as rock garden at Chandigarh. Most of you must have seen. If you have not seen, you must have heard about it. I myself have seen. It's very beautiful garden and it's a large garden. And recently, 2 3 years back only, there is a one section new that is developed of puppets. So you can visit there and you can see that section, and the other sections, they are very beautiful. Its 80-year-old creator, director Nek Chand, is now hailed as India's biggest contributor to outsider art. The 50th issue, spring 2005 of Raw Vision, a UK based magazine pioneer in outsider art publications, features Nek Chand and his rock garden sculpture, Women by the Waterfall, on its anniversary issues cover. So think about it, children, that how unusual and how exotic this is. That an 80-year-old man has created and contributed in such a manner to the outsider art that is worldly renowned now, and he is well known for his art. And his picture and Women by the Waterfall picture that was made by him, a sculpture created by him in the rock garden, was given the anniversary issue cover. So it's a great thing for an Indian to get such an acknowledgement. The notion, that is the idea of art, brat or raw art, was of works that were in their raw state as regards cultural and artistic influences. Anything and everything from a tin to a sink to a broken down car could be a material for a work of art, something Nek Chand has taken to dizzying heights. Recognizing his art as an outstanding testimony of the difference a single man can make when he lives his dream. Testimony is evidence, proof. So here the writer says that the idea of art, brat and raw art has been taken to great heights by Nek Chand, because he has used the material, that is a residual material, the remaining material, or the broken down things that are of no use, unused material. So a lot of things that we do not use, that out of them the creation is there, the creation of the garden is there. Therefore it is a great proof that a single man can make, when he lives his dream, what he can do, what he can make. The Swiss Commission for UNESCO will be honoring him. That is already been done by way of a European exposition of his works. The 5-month interactive show that already occurred, Realm of Nek Chand, Realm, World of Nek Chand, beginning October, will be held at leading museums in Switzerland, Belgium, France, and Italy. The biggest reward is walking through the garden and seeing people enjoy my creation, Nek Chand says. So, how beautiful, he says that when people walk into the garden and they appreciate the creation, then that is an award for him. In 2005, this has already occurred, and people know him worldwide for his creation of rock garden.